The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
And we are live to tape on the W2M Network for the Wrestling to the Max Smackdown live review here on W2M Net, as well as online at W2Mnet.com. Good evening, everybody. Welcome in. My name is Harry Broadhurst. I am your host. Joining me, the third man for this team, Brandon Biskobing.
Hey, at least you don't have to worry about me torturing you 2 days in a row this week.
Yeah, we're kind of taking tomorrow night's kickoff off, but that's mostly due to the fact that, A, we need an extra week to prepare in order to do our year-end award show. B, yeah, I'm not dealing with you schmucks on my birthday. Forget that. Hey, I want to take a quick opportunity to say thanks to our friends over at 411 Mania for actually posting last week's episode of the SmackDown and 205 Live reviews. Greatly appreciate it, guys. Make sure you guys check out 411mania.com/wrestling for all your news and everything related to the world of professional wrestling that you don't get over at W2Mnet.com. And now that I've officially sold my corporate soul, you ready to get into tonight's episode of SmackDown?
Let's do it.
All right. Our well wishes to Liz Puglisi as well. Hopefully she'll be back with us next Tuesday night. All right, let's move on. So, apparently, Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin was supposed to start tonight's episode of SmackDown, Brandon.
Yep.
Yeah, well, about that.
Nope.
Ziggler's in the arena, so good for him. And apparently, Dolph.
Things.
And apparently, in the meantime of Ziggler returning from his hiatus, he got his theme song back. So, I mean, I guess he's got that going.
Even though they're doing this weird thing now where instead of they basically reversed it now. And I don't know how long this will last, but they reversed it now to where he walks out to no music and it being completely dark. And then after a few seconds of him standing there, then his music hits and he walks out.
I think he's about due for a new theme song anyway, but that's just me. Anyway, so Ziggles is in the ring awaiting Corbin, and we find out that Corbin's not going to be joining us in the ring right now, even though his badass Tommy Vex theme song did play.
Yep, twice.
I do love Corbin's new music. I'm just saying. I didn't think I would get. I didn't think I would get over the loss. I didn't think I'd get over the loss of the original music, but the new one has grown on me quite quickly. Go ahead.
Agreed. Completely agree. That's what I was gonna say too. I liked his old theme a lot, but this new theme has grown on me.
Highly recommend you guys check out Tommy Vex's other work as well. Mm-hmm. Anywho. His band just did a cover of the Cranberries song "Zombie" too.
That's
cool. The lead singer of the Cranberries was going to be laying down cover tracks the day that she passed away. Background vocals for it too, because she approved of the cover. Anywho, we find out why Baron Corbin's not at ringside. Brandon, he's getting jumped by Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
Of course.
I feel like this is a recurring theme. Anyway, Corbin tries to fight back. Sami and Kevin get the better of him, lay him out, and then they come down to ringside and take out Dolph Ziggler as well. Kind of feels like they're trying to protect their turf and keep it as a triple threat. The unfortunate problem with that is that Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan are going to have something to say about this a tad bit later. Your thoughts on the opening segment?
I was honestly surprised, and we'll talk about what resulted of this later, but I was honestly surprised that this did not result in Shane just simply saying, "Oh, you're gonna pull that," like how AJ made you guys both get into the match last week. Okay, I'm gonna put both of them in the match automatically, and it's gonna be a fatal 5-way.
Well, I mean, technically, nope. Burying the lead.
Let's not move ahead of ourselves.
Yeah,
I mean, the opening segment, I mean, for what they were planning on doing moving forward, it worked perfectly, and it works to continue Sami and Kevin's whole thing of, and it's kind of funny, you know, Corbin's whole gimmick right now is like him getting these opportunities and wasting them. while they don't distinctly say it, Kevin and Sammy's gimmick is pretty much shooting themselves in the foot every week. Because they do these things which they think it'll get them an upper hand, but instead it completely backfires and puts them even further behind the 8 ball.
Our opening contest, scheduled for one fall, is the women's champion Charlotte Flair in a non-title match against Sarah Logan. So, as we talked about last week on the show, it appears that Charlotte versus the Riot Squad week after week after week is going to be the go-to, or so you'd think. First, the match itself, where Charlotte picks up the win over Sarah Logan, taking her down with natural selection.
Well, let's back up a few minutes and talk about how Charlotte outsmarted, well, not really outsmarted them, but decided to be smart and bring some backup with her.
Well, I mean, obviously, if you're going to go 1-on-3 with the Riot Squad, you're going to want to have Becky and Naomi with you.
Yes.
And that ties into what happens in this match here, well, the post-match, as it breaks down into a fracas. And instead of doing the Charlotte versus Becky, or the Charlotte versus Ruby match next week, instead we're getting a 6-woman tag again. I feel like we've seen this match before.
Especially considering the fact that apparently they've made it official that Rousey is going to be part of Raw. Does it seem like this is going to be the feud going into Mania, Charlotte versus Ruby?
I don't think Mania. I think there's a step between here and Mania and Fastlane. I think we get some kind of convoluted multi-woman match at Mania for the SmackDown Women's title. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go along the lines of what they did 2 years ago with the 6-pack challenge.
That could be. Yeah, that could happen. Yeah, I could see that.
You could do Charlotte, Naomi, Becky, Natalya, Ruby, and take your pick here. Carmella, maybe, or somebody along those lines.
I feel maybe, like Carmella, but see, I have a bad feeling that they're going to try to duplicate the best Money in the Bank cash-in with Carmella this year.
The SmackDown after WrestleMania?
No.
Or have her run in mid-match?
Yes.
See, I like Ziggler's more than Seth's, but that's just me.
Seth's was just more unexpected and more intense, or more, crazy because it was at Mania. So I have a feeling that they're going to try to do that.
Well, in that case, if it's not Carmella in the match in the 6-pack, you could add Lana to the match. I mean, after all, Lana is the best. Lana number 1. Oh,
God. Don't get me started. We'll talk about that later.
Actually, we'll talk about that on our next episode, which is the 205 Live and Mixed Match Challenge review, coming soon to the W2M Net and to, well, I guess by the time you listen to this, it'll be up, so you know.
Yep.
Anywho, SmackDown management meets backstage, and Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan are having a discussion about Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I feel like they have this conversation on a weekly basis. Anywho. They announced that instead of doing Baron Corbin versus Dolph Ziggler, where the winner gets added to the Fastlane main event to make it a fatal 4-way, we're going to get Corbin versus Owens and Ziggler versus Zayn. And if Corbin and Ziggler win their respective matches, both of them could be added to the championship match at Fastlane.
Yep.
I feel like if Liz were here, she'd be bitching about all the multi-man matches.
Well, I mean, SmackDown has to keep up with Raw and do a giant multi-man match for their pay-per-view heading into WrestleMania 2.
Yeah, well, they're still too short of the 7-person Elimination Chamber match.
Hey. They still have 3 weeks.
I don't disagree with that. Speaking of which, 7 in the chamber, really? What the?
How are they so this is going to be another brand new chamber that is going to further diminish the chamber?
No, I think we're going to have 3 people start rather than 2.
Okay. I mean, yes, I get that in the sense of not having to change the structure, but like,
you do realize that this Elimination Chamber will be scheduled for 6 falls? I'm waiting for it.
I'm not even gonna warrant that with a response.
Fine, you suck. Kevin Owens and Baron Corbin.
I was gonna say, they literally cannot change the structure, right? That thing's like already preset, so they have to do 3.
Unless they put in like a little mini pod for like Seth Rollins. I mean, he could fit a smaller pod.
Which just it further diminishes the whole thing of the match that they had on the same exact Raw.
Isn't there a door to like the outside though that gets opened? Well, I guess they could keep somebody behind there and open that.
But then, I mean, to be fair, that would actually kind of be interesting because then that could lead them to doing shit on top.
Them to doing what on top?
That's great.
Did I hear that correctly?
Yes, you did hear that correctly.
The views and opinions of Brandon Biskobing are solely his and do not reflect those of myself, Harry Broadhurst, our producer, Sean Garmer, or the W2M anyway.
Technically, it would be Harry because he's the one that brought up the joke.
But, if they're really doing a triple threat to start off, then it further diminishes another match that they had on Raw.
Yeah, well, I mean, technically speaking, though, we realize this is a SmackDown review show.
I know this.
We've gone off on a tangent here, but stay tuned next week for our Elimination Chamber predictions. Those will come after next week's SmackDown Live review. Anyway, shall we get back to the show at hand?
Let's do it.
All right. The next contest scheduled for one fall.
One fall.
Since the WWE won't let their ring announcers do it, damn it, we're doing it on this show. All right, anyway. Corbin and Kevin Owens for the opportunity for Corbin to advance to the Elimination Chamber here. Pretty strong back and forth match. You know what? I think Corbin gets a bad rap as a worker because he's actually a very solid hand, especially for somebody as relatively new to the business as he is.
Well, I mean, while it doesn't completely correlate, the fact that he does have, a combat sports background does help him, and, his boxing background does help him in the ring.
I also think that it's important to note that Corbin can probably work his style with other people better than most on the roster as well, just because of the fact that he has almost a bullying style to him, but even so, he's strong enough to be able to have that same kind of style against somebody the size of a Kevin Owens and have it not look weird.
Well, exactly. He can use his style against just about anyone, and especially on SmackDown, and have it be effective because of how small the roster is nowadays.
That being said, I don't know how I feel about Corbin using a move like End of Days on Kevin Owens. I feel like that move is better when done on smaller opponents. Having it done to a guy the size of Kevin Owens makes the move look, I don't know, weird, I guess.
Well, I mean, it shows that Corbin has the strength to do it. I mean, I get what you're saying, but you're not going to have someone, I mean, it's basically like saying how, certain moves look ridiculous when, a smaller guy's doing it on a really big guy.
On a related note, Sami Zayn shows his frustration at said End of Days by throwing his beanie at the television. My question to that becomes, does this make Sami non-evil again? Because we've noticed that the beanie is what turned Becky... Never mind. That's a Mixed Match Challenge reference for anybody who doesn't watch the show. The SmackDown Top 10 list is shown once again, and I don't care as much this week as I didn't care last week.
So, wait, I thought they were doing this every week.
No, I'm guessing it's going to be probably a monthly situation.
Oh, okay.
At least that's what I would do. I feel like that might be the best way to go about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because wasting television time with this on a weekly basis is going to get redundant, frankly.
True. Unless they actually do something which they've already shown this week that they will not.
Well, kind of. I mean, the U.S. title open challenge.
Yes, they reference it, but they only reference it with two of the guys, and then the one guy that was an honest surprise that he was on the list doesn't get mentioned at all. So, it's like, and Jinder coming out and talking about how, like...
Cart before the horse, haven't gotten to that yet.
Okay, fine.
Thank you. Robert Roode comes out to do... Why do I keep calling him Robert? Old habits...
Be proper.
Old habits die hard. Bobby Roode comes out and mentions the fact that he wants to be the greatest U.S. champion of all time. In order to do that, he's going to steal a tradition from the man that he wants to surpass. Ba-ra-ba-doo! Ba-ba-da-ba! Funny to me. Anyway.
Even though he started this, a couple of weeks ago, so...
Well, he's once again bringing back the U.S. title open challenge. He says that it's open for anybody in the back, but, and this is a direct quote, forgive me, I'm tired, it's been a long day, it's midnight here on the East Coast. He's hoping a certain someone accepts it face to face rather than coming out here with an RKO out of nowhere. Gee, I wonder who he's talking about. Mm-hmm. Dun dun dun. Dramatic reverb. Mm-hmm. Sure enough, the invitation is answered by Randy Orton. Orton has never had the United States title and is the only thing holding him away from becoming a Grand Slam champion in the WWE. Heavyweight, Intercontinental, U.S. Tag Team. However, before Randy Orton and Bobby Roode can start their contest, we get somebody else added to the mix. Now you may take over with what you were about to say.
Jinder Mahal decides to come out and talk about the whole top 10 thing. And he's talking about how the SmackDown roster does not respect Randy Orton because they voted him at number 9 at the top 10 list. Hello, he's 9 out of, I don't know how many are on the SmackDown roster. What?
Newsflash, Jinder, you didn't make the list!
Yeah, you didn't make the list at all! And then he's also talking about, first he's talking about how he beat Randy for the title and all of this. And Randy... to his credit, says he doesn't care about any top 10 list and never will. But Jinder still continues with this whole thing, how he's been with the company for 16 years, but he's number 9, but Roode's only been around for 6 months, and he's number 5, which, again, it's a current top 10, doesn't make any sense. And then Roode probably has the best line of the whole thing. Says those are big words for a man who didn't even make the top 10. So I mean, he basically said what everyone else was thinking. Like, what the hell are you talking about, Jinder? You didn't even make the list. You have no right to talk.
Not to mention, not only did he not make the list, Roode goes on to elaborate upon that by saying that the reason he didn't make the top 10 list is because nobody in the SmackDown locker room respects him.
Yes.
But what does end up happening, though, is that Orton ends up RKOing the Singh brother that isn't injured, Samir, I think.
I believe so. I believe you're
I think Sunil is the one who underwent ACL. See, either that or flip it and reverse it and you have the correct answer. I'm not sure which one's which.
Yeah.
Anywho, But in the process of doing that, he ends up getting laid out with a Colossus.
Yep.
And in addition, Roode takes a Colossus as well as Jinder Mahal stands tall in this particular episode of the Open Challenge. No match, but we do lay the groundwork for what's going to happen going forward. And apparently, we're replacing the triple threat at Fastlane with a different one, this one for the U.S. title.
Yep.
At least that's the way it appears to be to me.
That's what it looks like to me as well.
The New Day versus Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable. Just because it's Fat Tuesday, Big E's going to eat a bunch of pancakes.
This is fun. Come on, this is funny.
I'm over the pancakes. I'm beyond over them.
It made me want pancakes.
It's not funny. It doesn't help anyone.
I agree that, it's not as good as it could be, but, I mean, it's the New Day. They can make gold out of just about anything.
Yeah, well, this one should have stayed on its unicorn horn backstage. Like, I get the whole idea behind the Mardi Gras thing there, and this would be relevant if we were actually in New Orleans, but we're not. We're not heading there for another month and a half.
Yeah, they probably should have waited on this until March.
But I get the idea. Today is technically Fat Tuesday. We're close to, I think it's like 40 days until Easter or whatever like that is. I want to say that's how that works.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
I'm not Catholic. I don't claim to be. I wouldn't want to be. To each their own, but not for me.
I think you are correct. So I think that's what they were doing here.
I believe Mardi Gras is technically today. But anyway. So Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin come out, and Chad Gable gives basically my entire thoughts on this segment. Wow, that was great, guys. Really. Go ahead, defend it.
I mean, it was a fun segment. I mean, I get the whole thing about Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin, but see, especially when it came to this match, this is what you expect, because New Day is the very fun, lighthearted tag team. Gable and Benjamin are the very, uptight, completely focused on competition team. So, of course, you were going to have that sort of dynamic come into this.
I will say there is something really hilarious about seeing Big E get all worked up when they flip over his pancake table.
Oh, that was great. I mean, I knew it was coming, but even though I knew it was coming from a mile away, when it happened, it was awesome.
I feel like that needed the old Big E sound effect. You done flapped the wrong jack, sucker. Anyway, we go into a tag team match, player, and the New Day pick up the victory as excuse me. The Midnight Hour lands, and the New Day picks up a win with Kofi Kingston getting the fall on Chad Gable.
Yeah.
Anything to add about the match?
Nothing.
It was a match?
Yeah, nothing too crazy. I mean, especially if you wanted to continue this whole, and I mean, it does, with the way this match ended, it doesn't seem like they're going to do this. But if you wanted to extend this feud, or
to be fair, there's not a whole lot of other teams on SmackDown for Gable and Benjamin to feud with.
Exactly. I mean, this could have been an interesting feud for them to do because you have that dynamic there already. What they could have done, I mean, yes, it's already been done before, but they were given ample opportunity in this match. You could have very easily, when Benjamin got off of the apron and went after Big E, and then, Xavier got involved and got his head kicked in, you could have very easily had Benjamin do something with Francesca too, and as a result begin this whole big war against the New Day.
Something tells me we're not done with these two teams yet. Hopefully, the rest of these matches will have less of a focus on pancakes and more of a focus on the ring, because the in-ring stuff wasn't bad. The pre-match stuff just bored me.
Well, but that's what you're going to get with a New Day versus Gable and Benjamin feud, is you're going to have that focus on that dynamic between New Day, which is very lighthearted, very happy-go-lucky, very, not so much anti-wrestling, but, they are prototypical, WWE wrestling. And then you have Gable and Benjamin, which are the very pure, Olympic style, pure wrestling, only focused on in-ring stuff type of wrestling.
So what you're saying is this is the sports versus the entertainment.
Precisely.
I guess I could buy that. All right, we move on. Backstage interview time for Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler talks about the fact that he gave up the U.S. title, but has since come back at the Royal Rumble, and now he's going to be picking his spots, stating that the one thing that Ziggler has never done, the one thing that he's always wanted to do, is to main event WrestleMania. Yeah, hate to be the bearer of bad news, Dolph. Good luck with that. Anywho.
Even though, didn't he go into a Mania with the title?
I don't believe so, because I think the only title reign that he had was cut short by the concussion from Swagger.
Okay. Or, wait, did he cashed in the night after Mania?
The night after Mania, yeah, on Monday Night Raw, the Izod Center.
Right. Never mind. You're right.
Yeah, because he was in a tag team title match at Mania the night before he cashed in. It was him and Big E challenging for the tag team titles against...
Right.
Am I drawing Kane and Daniel Bryan?
Yes. Team Hell No.
Great. Ziggler says that the only thing he hasn't done is main event WrestleMania, and he'll be damned if he doesn't walk in there as the WWE champion to do so. Yet another Uso promo talking about the tag team division. But we find out that it's being watched on television by the Bludgeon Brothers, who have no interest in what the Usos have to say. I'm actually looking forward to this match. These two teams have had some really good matches in the past. I take you back to 2015, when Harper and Rowan were part of the Wyatt family and they took on the Usos for the tag titles on back then. So I have no doubt that these two teams can deliver great matches. The question is going to be is when does the match happen? How much time does the match get? And will it be a one and done, or is this something that we're going to see for an extended run?
I would assume Fastlane. I think it'll go for at least a little while because, what else are they really going to put on Fastlane other than title matches? And I think I could see either Bludgeon Brothers winning or the Usos winning in some sort of shenanigans type way to where this continues into Mania. And hopefully we get a SmackDown Tag Team title match at Mania this year, unlike last year.
Or they just end up inside of the Andre Battle Royal again.
You shut your mouth.
The Andre Rousimov Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania. Armbar. Anyway. Our main event, scheduled for one fall, is the aforementioned Dolph Ziggler and Sami Zayn match here. And things get interesting here as, once again, a monkey wrench gets thrown into the Fastlane title match. We kind of teased it earlier. It is now a fatal five-way. Dolph Ziggler survives an attempt at the haluva kick, hits the zigzag, but does not get the pin. Sami comes in. Sami comes into an attempt at the corner after exploder suplexing Ziggler into the turnbuckles like he usually does. Goes in for another haluva kick, and Ziggler hits him with a super kick, collapsing into the cover.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good match between these two. I mean, you expected that because these two are very good workers, both of them. And I figured that this was going to be the finish because they're going to continue this whole thing of Sami and KO, shooting themselves in the foot and continuing to have to be put behind the 8 ball.
See, my thought process to this, though, is that why are you going to do an odd number for this match? If you're going to do a multi-man match such as this here, either go with 4 or 6. 5 seems like such an odd choice.
Well, like I said, we still have a few weeks left to go. So they may end up adding one more. But if you want to talk about odd numbers, look at Raw. They're going to have 7 in the Elimination Chamber. So, I mean, this is the month of the odd numbers.
7 people in the Elimination Chamber. Grumble, grumble. What kind of is this? Grumble, grumble, grumble. Sorry, had a moment. I'm back. And that officially wraps us up for tonight's episode of SmackDown Live. Scale of 1 to 10, Brandon.
I'll give it a 6.5. I mean, it was an interesting lead to, Fastlane, more build up towards Fastlane, but, nothing super special.
I'm slightly below you at a 6. I think that we're starting to get things thrown into place for WrestleMania. Things are becoming more and more obvious as to where they're going. I still think that we're dead set on Styles and Shinsuke. I don't think that's going to change. We're teasing more and more dissension between Kevin and Sami, so it looks like that is going to happen here. Mm-hmm. The jailbreak, so to speak, for the tag team titles is on, and it looks like it looks like Bobby Roode's U.S. title reign is going to face some serious challenges in his road to WrestleMania as well, specifically the 11-time World Heavyweight Champion Randy Orton. One-word review, Brandon. What one word would you use to best describe tonight's episode of SmackDown?
I don't really have one. I don't really know what to say about this one.
I have one.
Okay.
Convolution.
Convoluted. Yeah.
Convolution. Completely sassafrassin the title scene here. Like, I was okay with a fatal 4-way for the title there, and I figured that this would be an opportunity to give Ziggler a win over Corbin tonight in order to let Ziggler look good going into the 4-way match at Fastlane, and then you could have Corbin get involved and cost Ziggler the match and do something with those two for WrestleMania. In addition, you could still have your Sami and Kevin program, and then you'd have Styles going on to face Shinsuke. Now we have all 5 of these men in for the Fastlane title match here, and no one knows what the is going on.
I mean, in theory, you could still do that, even in a fatal 5-way. You could have Corbin and Ziggler facing off against each other, and them, go fight into the back or something, and have, Kevin and Sami go against each other with AJ coming in and getting a win.
I just feel like it added an extra piece that doesn't need to be there.
I'll agree with that for the most part, but, I mean, this is probably... But it also works in the sense of the whole Daniel versus Shane thing, because Daniel added 2 extra guys when it should have only been 1, and now Shane added another extra 2 guys when it should have only been 1. So it's kind of, them one-upping each other, and, we'll see where this leads. I have a feeling it'll lead somewhere heading into Mania.
Or I would say that it's more likely that it goes more so after Mania, just based on the fact that the Mania card is going to be so stretched beyond capacity as it is. I feel like that we could end up seeing maybe a Team Bryan versus Team Shane thing at Backlash once they go back to the dual brand pay-per-views over them fighting for control of SmackDown.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, that's going to officially wrap us up here for the SmackDown Live review. Make sure you pay attention to most of these same outlets: Stitcher, iTunes, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and the actual W2M Net website, W2Mnet.com, for more information about continuing episodes of the SmackDown Live review, as well as our next broadcast that we'll bring to you here within the next matter of moments, the 205 Live and Mixed Match Challenge review. Brandon, where can people find you online / other podcasts?
They can find me online on Twitter, which I don't really use at all right now, but it's Bisco_GothamSN. And find me on here.
Still there?
So stay tuned for that.
I think you had a mic cut, Brandon.
Oh, okay. Where did I cut?
You can find you on Twitter at Gotham's SN or something like that, so try that again.
Net on kickoff, and when we get started off, the Fantasy Football Podcast with me and Jason Teasley.
In addition, I'm on the kickoff as well. You can also find me on Wrestling Unwrapped once that returns from hiatus. How the War Was Won is still in the works of being developed. We'll have you got more information for that as we can. I'm also on the Raw Reaction every Monday night with 411 Mania's Tony. What the?
You bled through his mic there.
Okay, let's try this again. I'm also on the Raw Reaction with 411 Mania's Tony Acero and the Chairshots.com's Andrew Ballas. Jesus, I'm having an evening wrapping these up. So, for our executive producer, Sean Garmer, the absent Liz Puglisi, and my co-host, Brandon Biskobing, this has been the W2M Net Wrestling to the Max SmackDown Live review. We'll be back shortly with 205 Live and Mixed Match Challenge. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you in a bit.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.